Good morning, distinguished members of the County Commission. My name is Q Rose, and I come before you today, foremost as a student of history, and second most as a student of the University of Las Vegas, Nevada. Grave are the circumstances in which I address all of you today, yet for all of the uncertainty and dismay, I stand here before you as a free man in a democracy, for the people, by the people, and of the people. Celebrate not, however, the fire of our republic, for it is but an ember of our former flame. Our country is dying. However, our country is dying, a culture of apathy and disinterest. These things are plagues to a prospering nation. And while our country lies broken and in ruin, we make sacrifices on the altar of consumerism, misplace our values, and bear a false sense of loyalty in our nationalism. Where once a man was judged by the fruit of his labors and the actions of his character, he is now judged by what he owns, what he earns, and his ability to fit in with social groups. In a society that has forsaken individuality for conformity, we have lost that quintessential attribute that has made us a country of special significance. While we may not possess a singular sense of nationality, akin to that of England or France, it's our different senses of perception and ideology that allow us to expand democracy in ways that have never been attempted before in history. Yet as our country enters its 238th year, a looming and ever-present force threatens to kill our precious republic in its infancy. Tyranny has always served as the antithesis of democracy and continues to, even today. However, today that tyranny is ever so more subtle. It comes not as a cry, but as a whimper, in the form of a simple act of legislation. And while this tyranny is being perpetrated, our media is consuming itself with the lies of the unofficial aristocracy and the praising of an administration ready to put its own people in chains. The National Defense Authorization Act is nothing less than a declaration of war against the American people, claiming the United States is just another battleground in the growing war and the increasingly frivolous and misguided war on terror. Under the NDAA, Americans found to be terrorists, associates of terrorists, or terrorist sympathizers may be imprisoned indefinitely without trial or due process. The most horrifying part of this policy being that nowhere in the NDAA does it give a clear and concise definition of terrorism, meaning that the cases in which this policy can be used is up to the discretion of the federal government. Freedom of speech, political activism, and violent acts against our government. These things will become one and the same if this bill is to be passed. Just as the Federal Reserve Act and the IRS Act were signed into law quietly during a Christmas congressional break by Woodrow Wilson, the NDAA Act has received little to no media attention and therefore very little resistance from the American people. Only now, instead of placing immediate debt on our currency and indenturing the American people financially, the NDAA seeks to physically restrain those who do not act in accordance with the will and desires of the United States government. All, of course, under the banner of national interest. I have come before you today to implore you, no, to beg you, to stop this madness before America is destroyed forever. Thomas Jefferson famously said to remain vigilant. Too many have hidden the truth, and the light of our liberty dims with each passing day. We must not allow ourselves, like the Romans of antiquity, to be plunged into an empirical tyranny under the guise that one man or entity may speak on behalf of a nation. I leave these things with you in the hope that democracy and freedom may not become relics of the past, but promises of our future.
Thank you, Mr. Rose.